Have you seen this shadow right here? The man with the hat.
So yes, I have my own personal story with this shadow man entity, and he actually appeared to me a couple times. Please hear me out. The very first time I seen him was when I was about 15 years old. And I was actually hanging out with someone I was dating at the time who wasn't good for me. We was hanging on her porch. It was very late, but she lived right across the street from me, so I was there very often. As I'm sitting on the porch, I look over to the tree. Mind you, it was dark, and I saw this dark shadow, the shadow man with the hat, clear as day, as night can show me. And naturally, me and her go running into my house for protection. And come to find out that my mom was having a spiritual mass at the time. Second time it appeared to me was a couple years ago, also when I was dating someone who was not good for me. And they appeared to me as well. And because of that, it's what made me push away. But I was today years old when I found out that shadow man entity is actually a spirit guide that belongs to my mother. And it just clicked to me today that that entity was sent for my protection. In many religions, the shadow man entity has different names, but from what I discovered, this entity is considered Eshu, or some people might call him Gede. The spirit guide or entity is like a trickster and enjoys devious situations. And this entity comes from religions that derive from Isheshe, the original religion in the world, or at least the very first. Now all this time I was scared of him, but come to find out he was protecting me the whole time. I love spirituality. So sometimes don't be scared or thrown off by these entities, because you never know where they come from or what they're doing for you. Stay blessed.
So I'm actually freaking out a little bit. This girl just posted this picture on my For You page. Pause to read. So if you are like into metaphysics or spirituality or any of that, this is a crazy story for you. And in the comments, there's a lot of people who are telling similar stories. So I am a twin, and my sister sleeps on the bottom bunk when we were younger, and I sleep on the top. Well, I woke up out of a complete dead sleep, and when I opened my eyes, they were facing the door, and as soon as I opened my eyes, I made eye contact with this shadow person. And his eyes were just deep red, and he goes like this and opens them really big, like, oh my god, she's looking at me. And I don't know why, but instead of like going under my bed and was like fearful or anything like that, like, I jumped out of the bed and I started chasing him. So he ran through the hallway and into the living room. I followed him. He looked back at me to like scare me, like, bitch, back up. And I didn't. I just kept running after him, and he jumped into the wall and like kind of made like a turning shape, like a, you know, if people, I don't know, if people like fall on concrete and they do the outline of the body, that's how it looked like, except on the wall. And then he just completely disappeared. I ran back to my room and went under the covers. Now I was nervous and afraid and went to sleep. So in the morning, I told my parents, I'm like, I called it a shadow person too. I'm like, I called it a shadow person. It was a man that was all black, and he had really red eyes, and he was staring at me. And they're like, you were dreaming, blah, blah, blah. So my cousin was sleeping over. She came in from England. She's sleeping over in the living room on a blow-up bed. And she goes to Mia, why were you chasing Nadia at night? And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, did you see two people in the living room? She was like, yeah, I saw two people in the living room. I saw you chasing, like, Nadia. I saw you chasing someone. And I was like, Mom, see, I'm not lying to you. And I effing, like, till this day, I'm just so curious about who that was, because I wasn't scared, you know what I mean? But I don't know, it was weird. Like, the first thing that came to mind when I started researching, like, the watchers and stuff was this shadow person. But I also remember seeing their pets, which I haven't looked up anything about that, haven't seen any stories, but I remember looking under my bed one time, and there were like little fuzzy kind of black dust balls. Like, have you seen Spirited Away? It was exactly like that, with the red eyes, bright red eyes, just like this, as if they were like minions or pets or something. And they were just like all under the bed. There was like tens, maybe 100 of them, just all staring at me and like moving around and stuff. And that creeped me out a little bit more. But yeah, insane. During this time, I was seeing a lot of like spiritual beings and like apparitions and stuff like that. My aunt had passed away when she was 19, and a funeral director came in, but then behind the funeral director, till this day, I swear it was Princess Diana, but she wasn't deceased yet. By the time that my aunt had passed away. So, but she had the image exactly of Princess Diana. She was wearing a purple dress, a purple crown on her head, and she had a purple band-aid on her finger. And she like did this to me, like, hi, you know, and she was like following, and I ran up to my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm like, there's a princess, I saw a princess, and she was like, no, he was by himself. But I was like, no, I saw a princess. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But the fact that people are posting about these shadow people, like, what? If you have seen one of these, please comment down below.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all pay. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just.
Hey y'all, welcome back to All Things Jenny. I'm Jenny and welcome back to another episode of Spooky Stories. So today we're talking about the top hat or the shadow man that people will see in the shadow of like their house or something, right? So there's a reason why a lot of people are able to see it and some people are not able to see it. So I've talked about this before in my previous videos. I think I make about 2 or 3 videos about this already, but I also shared my personal story of when I actually saw it, but I was back in Haiti. And ever since then, I've never seen it ever again. And I think the only reason why I don't see it anymore is because I no longer want to see it. And also because I'm not going through what I was going through when I saw it, which is grief and sadness. And I think that's what it attracts to. And I had just lost my godmom. So it was like my godmom plus a friend of mine, close friend. I was young, but I still remember this. And that's when I saw it. But ever since then, I never saw it again, even when I was going through grief, because I grieve different now, right? So let's get into it.
And people be getting you like that. They walk past, they don't gotta touch you. They can walk right past you. And that shadow that's leaning on them, the shadow that's hanging on them, that demon that's all on them, hop right on your shit. They got motherfuckers downtown called the shadow people. So when you walking and you walking past them, they shadow hop on your shadow. That's how they get inside your energy field. So, you know, you ain't gotta just sleep with them, kiss them, touch them and all that. No. They be having their motherfucking hanging off of them, you hear me? It's the energy field right there, and that bitch could be filled with a bunch of demons or a bunch of, you hear me? It could be filled with a bunch of succubus type of motherfuckers, you hear me?
The Black Shadow Man is a thing, and the Black Shadow Hat Man is a thing. And you know what trips me out about this is that I know that it's not just people's imaginations, because I've talked to people, like separate people, who have both told me about the Black Hat Man and described him like to a T. I've seen other people now here on TikTok. Honestly, I love TikTok, and that's why I wanted to bring this conversation to TikTok, is because I know that a lot of things that we experience, we think it's like an isolated event, and it's not. Like the back rooms, I thought I was the only one who went to the back rooms, and apparently other people have also gone to the back rooms. So it has to be an alternate dimension, an alternate universe, like something else there, because how are different people going to sleep and landing in the same place? You know what I mean? And I have my own theories on sleep paralysis. I used to be really scared. We can get into later, but I'm not anymore. And I have found that my personal vibe has a lot to do with it. Never personally had an experience with the Shadow Hat Man, but I have had an experience with like several shadow people. But I think what trips me out more is like the hat is like very specific, you know, and it's like the way that people describe it is very similar. Like it's a specific kind of hat. It's not like a baseball cap, you know, it's a very specific thing. So
you seen the Hat Man or another entity that scared you, girl?
Oh, I've seen him my whole life. He is a trip. And he has others like him. It's just that they don't have a hat, but they all have that freaking robe thing, that jacket thing, and they're all shadows. Now, I could actually tell you that I fought his ass. We got into it because he was upset that I wasn't afraid of him anymore. And he was trying his best to scare me or make me feel like fear. And I looked at him and I'm like, no, I'm not scared of you anymore. And I remember fighting with him, but I was talking, but he was like telepathic talking to me. Like, you know, obviously like a conscience type thing. Like he was just talking. And his voice sounded kind of like echoey. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. You're not gonna find me. I'm gonna block you. You're not gonna find me for years. Watch. I'm gonna block you. And sure enough, I started running, and I was running through like this church looking thing. And these guys that were dressed just like him, like shadows, but without the hat. There was three of them. They were chasing me, and I was running. And then I hopped a different dream. Like I hopped to a different dream. And I remember waking up. It's been maybe about 4 or 5 years since I've dreamt about him or any of his friends until recently. It was maybe last year or 2 years ago. I had a dream that someone was knocking on my door, and it was the loudest knocks. Like, I don't know, like those knocks that everyone could hear, and it was so echoey. And I remember coming downstairs from my room, and my house looked like something like Stranger Things, like something from the Upside Down. Like it looked so dark, so eerie, so weird, so old. And they kept knocking on my door, and my door was different. My door was like a mosaic type thing. And he was knocking so hard, and he broke it. He made like a hole, like he broke through it, and he looked at me. And this is the first time I saw his face. It looked so weird. Like his eye was huge, and he was looking through, and he's like, I found you. He's like, I found you. I finally found you. And I started laughing because I said, but you can't come in, can you? And he was so pissed. I'm like, you can't come in. You found me, but you can't come in because I banished your ass. Try it. And after that, I woke up and I had like that, yeah, bitch. After that, I haven't dreamt about him. So he might pop up now that I'm fucking talking about him.
Am I the only person that saw the man with the hat when I was a kid? If you don't know what I'm talking about, keep scrolling.
So I wanted to do a breakdown of my perspective of the man in the hat, or the shadow man, as everybody likes to refer to the spirit to, because I've been seeing a lot of videos about people having that same experience with seeing this guy, whether it be in the middle of astral projection and they go in like sleep paralysis and he pops up, or if somebody is very sick or somebody's on like the verge of death, then he pops up. So it really made me wonder, who is this spirit and why is everybody having the same experience? I could give you guys a brief summary of my experience. So this had to be maybe about 5 years ago. I was just starting my journey and just starting to figure out like who I am, my gifts, and how I fall into the collective, right? I remember one day, I don't remember what actual renovations were going on in my house, but I just remember that I didn't have access to my bedroom, but I was still having to be in the house and wait for workers to come in and out. So the couch in my living room was extremely uncomfortable, so I decided to go take a nap in my sister's room, right? So when I went into my sister's room, now this story is the reason why I never sleep on my back, so I'm gonna continue to tell you guys so you guys can understand. I went to go take a nap in my sister's room, and I went into like that drifting state that you go into right before you fall asleep, when you're in between being awake and being asleep, but you're kind of in that like drifty falling asleep state. Yeah, I was in that, laying on my back. And the next thing I know, I started feeling like a very tight feeling in my chest. I feel like the spirit was communicating to me telepathically. Then I didn't know that it was telepathically, but now that I can get a recollection of the story, I believe that he was communicating telepathically. Don't ask me what he said. It was so many years ago, I can't remember. I just remember being on my back and starting to feel this tightness in my chest. So then I looked out the corner of my eye in the threshold of my sister's door, and I seen him standing there in the threshold. Now, I'm not usually the type of person that fears spirits, because, you know, once you start to fear them, you give more power to them, and then that's when they start to really mess with you. But I was a beginner. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I was like, who the hell is this shadow man in my door and what the hell does he want? So naturally, I got a little scared. So I tried to speak. I could not speak. And it's like, I seen my face kind of quivering in fear. And I felt like I heard the spirit say, you know, you're not going to be able to speak me out of existence or whatever. Like, speaking is not going to work, right? Now, don't ask me how I broke that shit. I feel like I may have started praying or just telling the entity to get the fuck out, because sometimes telling them to get the fuck out works. And it left. And I didn't have an experience after. I've never seen him after. I've never had sleep paralysis after. Like, it was crazy. 333 on the time as soon as I said that. A lot of people think that this shadow man is Papa Legba. The only reason why I disagree, because this depiction of Papa Legba is not even how Papa Legba works or looks, rather. This is more of a depiction of the Baron Samedi. Let me show you guys a picture of a Baron Samedi. Now, the Baron Samedi, from my knowledge, and anybody that practices voodoo or voodoo and works with the Lao, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to be wrong. From my understanding, Papa Legba is the guardian of the cemeteries, and from my understanding, the Baron Samedi is the guardian of the crossroads. Now, it's crazy how, in correlation, how voodoo and hoodoo have that entity that is like the keeper of the crossroads, right? Now, if you guys are looking for any great hoodoo podcasts to give you a breakdown of the deities that are in the Pantheon, I hope I'm saying it right. Please don't roast me in the fucking comments. But it gives you a breakdown of a little bit of the deities that are actually in the Hoodoo Pantheon. And this particular podcaster, Juju, she gives a breakdown on basic things that are engraved in the Black culture that we don't necessarily consider hoodoo. Now, the specific episode that I'm talking about in terms of the Black man at the crossroads, IJC, in the description below is this one. So if you guys want to go and explore and really figure out who this crossroads man is, I encourage you guys to do so. I'm like really interested to find out the lore behind the shadow man though. So if anybody has ever had any experiences with him, or maybe any information that we can share as a collective, please drop it in the comments below. If you guys have any stories, please drop them in the comments below. And if you guys want me to do a breakdown of anything hoodoo or the Black man at the crossroads, please let me know. And please be safe. Now, am I suggesting that you be afraid of this deity? No. Deity. Entity. No, not necessarily. From my experience, he seems to be like a lower level entity, just trying to scare people or just send like weak attacks. Because what happens is when you're sleeping, you're basically borderline astral projecting, or you're getting ready to get into that state where you are astral projecting. And that in-between space between falling asleep and waking up is the most vulnerable and dangerous space that you can be in to be spiritually attacked, which is why we probably hear stories of people saying, you know, I had sleep paralysis, or I was really, really sick. Like, attacks happen when your body isn't as strong to defend them off, but also when your mind and your vital organs are more working towards healing your body, you won't necessarily be on guard to watch out for these spiritual attacks. So make sure you guys are saying your Psalms prayers. Psalms 91, to be specific, is a good one to memorize. Make sure you guys are saying your prayers before bed. And, you know, watch out for the kids. I just heard that. Kids are more susceptible to lingering energies like this one, to see them. And, you know, adults really like bypass them and push them off to be something that they're not. But this is something, because if multiple people are having this experience, that means it's something. So if you guys want me to do a part 2 or a breakdown, just let me know. Bye.
Excuse my excitement, my rapid speed of talking, and my bulging eyes. It should just happen last night. I'm still a little antsy. It's going to be a long story, so I'm just going to jump right in. I want to get this done in one part. So not too long ago, I had posted a video about the first time I had like actually visually seen a fucking apparition or a shadow thing, like for the first time ever in my life. I said it happened in San Diego. Well, that wasn't correct, but that's going to be, why I'm telling you this is going to be relevant to the story later. You're going to realize. And that is how often this type of creepy stuff happens to me, that it's become mundane to me. It's like when you go and brush your teeth. It's something you do, but like it's something that happens every day, but you don't talk about it. You don't think about it. This is how this shit has become for me. I am like a beacon for this type of energy, these type of things happening to me. So I forget stuff all the time, and then I'm fucking triggered, like I was triggered last night. So in 2016, me and my boyfriend at that time had decided to move in together in these apartments in Lancaster, California. So we move in, everything is fine for the first 2 months, and then after those 2 months, I one day just suddenly feel like I'm being watched, and this feeling will not go away. And then about a year in, we started noticing things around the house are being misplaced and moved around. I swear, a perfect example, I had put my tablet, my reading tablet, on my nightstand because I read in bed, and then walk out of the room, and I come back in the room, and the tablet is in the middle of the floor, the middle of the room. Like, there's no way the shit could have just fell and landed in the middle of the fucking room. It would be next to the nightstand, right? So shit like that was happening around the house all the time. And in the beginning of that, we were blaming each other, like, oh, I know you're fucking with me, like, that type of shit, right? But then it got to a point where I was like, okay, this, like, it obviously is not either one of us, because me and him would both be out of the house running errands or going out to dinner or whatever the fuck, and come back and shit is moved around. So we're like, what the fuck? So my boyfriend starts setting up cameras all over the apartment, right? Because he's thinking we have a frogger. Like, if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much someone that like secretly lives in your house and you don't know. If you ask me, I would much rather have a ghost in my house than a frogger. That is fucking terrifying. So we put up these cameras all around the apartment, but the shit is still happening. And it's happening like just outside of the camera view, or in rooms like where we don't have the cameras. Like our guest room, we didn't put a camera in there. The bathroom, we didn't put a camera in there for obvious reasons. So all of this that I just said that happened, this all happened within a span of like a year, right? So we're into our second year in this apartment. Now going into this next year, the activity just stops. But that next year was like the beginning of the end of that relationship. All we did that whole entire year was just argue and fight with each other. And it's not until one day that me and him are having a full-on screaming match. Me and him both are standing in the hallway facing each other, and to my left, to his right, is the bathroom. There's a hallway and then there's a bathroom. So me and him are screaming at each other. And the bathroom door slowly creaks open. Me and him both stop and look down the hallway. And we see a shadow. That's the only way that I can describe this. It didn't have like facial features or nothing like that. It looked like just this big tall shadow. It looked as tall as him. He was like 6'4". He was super. It looked as tall as him, and it was see-through, transparent, and it walks slowly towards us. And me and him are both frozen in fear, and we are both just watching this thing. I can't believe I just stood there. The thing walks down the hallway, comes right at us, walks in between us, walks into our living room, and then just dissipates. And me and him were left absolutely speechless. So that was actually the first time that I had ever seen an apparition. Not in San Diego, okay? But that will not be the last time. So me and my boyfriend end up breaking up and he moves out. But I ended up staying in the apartment because there's 3 months left on the lease, and he had paid the rent 3 months in advance to help me out so I can save up some money to go find my own place. So 3 months free rent, fuck yeah, I'm staying. So this one night, being super impulsive, I randomly decided to get a tattoo. I have a friend that's an artist. I invite him over. I tell him, you know, you can spend the night because you're going to be up a while, like fixing my tattoo. I had a tattoo on my foot that I wanted to get fixed. So it's time for bed. I put him on the couch. I'm in the bedroom. I wake up the next morning, and this motherfucker literally looks like he has seen a ghost. He was sitting on my porch, smoking a cigarette, you know, rubbing his head, like he looked super stressed out. So I walk out there trying to be all funny and shit. I'm like, what's wrong with you, baby mama drama? That motherfucker had like 8 baby mamas, and no, I am not exaggerating. So he stayed stressed. This motherfucker, without missing a beat, looks me dead in my eyes and goes, there's something in your house. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck do you mean? Do you care to elaborate? He told me he had woken up to use the bathroom, and when he sat up on the couch, he looked down the hallway. So it's the hallway, and then at the end of the hallway it's my bathroom, but like to the left of that is my bedroom. The room branches off. He said he had looked down the hallway and saw a big, tall shadow figure just standing in front of my door, like almost like it was guarding it. He said he told me he was too scared to use the bathroom, that he had laid his ass back down, like praying for this thing to go away, right? He said he had stayed up for at least an hour just laying there. And he said every time he would look over, that thing was still there. He said that thing, it didn't move, it didn't go away, like it didn't give a fuck that I was looking at it, it stayed right in front of your door. He said that he had gotten the feeling that this thing was trying to intimidate him. So needless to say, he never came back. That scared the fuck out of him. We had to continue my tattoo at his place the next day. So shortly after all this, I end up having to, leave the apartment. I move in very briefly with my mother. So I'm staying with my mama, and one day my mom randomly walks into the room and is like, do you want to go to church with me? And I'm like, no, I don't. And it was a Brazilian church at that. Like, no shade or disrespect to Brazil, but we're not Brazilian. We don't speak Portuguese. Why she wanted to go to this church, I don't know. So after my mom took me on this long-ass guilt trip, I'm like, fine, okay, I'll go with you. So we make it to the church. My mama walks in first, and then I walk in. Tell me why, when I make eye contact with the pastor, the guy who's leading everything, he looks like he has just seen a ghost. Immediately, I am feeling very unsettled. Throughout the fucking service, he is locked in on me. He's preaching. He's just looking at me the whole time. Like there's not a fucking whole group of people there. I wanted to get up and leave, but I don't want to be rude and I don't want to piss off my mom, so I just sit through it. So the service ends. I'm the first one on my feet. Before I can make it down the aisle, he loudly, he was making it seem like he was talking to everybody, but he was talking to me. He was like, wait, we pray before we leave. We have to pray. So I take my ass to the prayer circle that's in the front of the church. He immediately puts his hands on my forehead like this. Excuse me, sir. I don't like people touching me, especially strangers. I believe in energy transfer and destiny swapping and shit. I believe in all that. And on top of that, I am a fucking germaphobe. And your hands are like one of the dirtiest parts of your body. Do not touch me. But like I said, I don't want to be rude, so I'm just sitting there. I don't want to piss my mom off. I'm just sitting there with his fucking dirty ass hands on my fucking head. And he won't let go of my head. Mind you, there's at least 30 other people there. We're in a circle. It was a long ass prayer too. It was like 2 or 3 minutes long. The whole time he's got his sweaty ass hands on my forehead. So as soon as he says amen, immediately I'm already halfway out the door. But when I walk out, I notice my mom is not behind me. I notice she stayed behind to talk to this dude. 10 minutes later, my mama hops in the car, lights up a cigarette, and tells me, so I was talking to Pastor so-and-so, and he said that you brought something dark in with you. I beg your finest fucking pardon? She said that he said when I walked in that physically there was something big and dark following right behind me. Immediately, I'm like, that thing from the apartment has followed me. It's following me now. So I end up moving out of my mom's, and that's when I end up in San Diego in Lemon Grove, and that was the last time, not the first time, that was the last time that I had seen that thing in my little San Diego apartment guest house that I was renting, where it flew out of the window. I have a story time about that, but pretty much that thing showed itself one last time in my room, and it flew out of my window. That was 2019, and I haven't seen it since until last night. So last night, I had company over. I'm making dinner. Me and him are talking. I notice he keeps looking into my kitchen. And I make a joke. I'm like, don't worry, the food's going to be ready soon. Just a couple minutes. He's like, no, it's not that. I keep catching something in the corner of my eye in your kitchen. Something dark. Immediately, when he said that, something tall and dark, I'm like, oh, shit, it's back. Right after I say that to him, like, oh, shit, it's back, I'm about to tell him a story. The fucking tongs that were sitting on my stove fly off of the stove right in front of me and him. I had my tongs just like this. When I cook, I keep my utensils right in the middle like this. There's no way that this could have just fell or slipped off like that. There's even a little dip here too. There's no way that thing just slipped off. That shit flew off of the stove. Flew off in front of us. My time is up, y'all, but now I'm dealing with that. That is what I'll be dealing with. What do y'all think though? Do I have a protector? Am I haunted? Do I got a little ghost stalker?
Have you ever encountered this shadow figure before? He's actually known as the Shadow Man, and it's believed to be that pretty much everyone has encountered him at least one time in their life. And if you haven't, you will. I actually used to see him when I was a little girl and I would spend the night at my grandma's house. I would be laying in bed and I would turn over and I could see the hallway from there, and he would just kind of be in the hallway looking at me, and then I would kind of close my eyes, like, you know, thinking, oh, I'm just seeing stuff, and I'd open him again, he'd be gone. Then I'd turn over in the middle of the night, kind of open my eyes, and he'd be there again, but in a different spot. I was probably like 9 years old. He isn't dangerous, he won't talk to you, he won't come near you, but he's just there. He is just standing there. Even as an adult, I've seen him standing in the doorway of my closet. But I want to hear your stories. Have you ever encountered this shadow man? Let me know in the comments.
So I posted a video yesterday about the shadow person that has been following me around. And I had at least 10 fucking people in my comment section telling me that, oh, sounds like you have a spirit husband. What the fuck is a spirit husband? And how the fuck do I go about getting a motherfucking divorce? Cause what? Listen, in all seriousness, I think that's a very interesting conclusion. That's an interesting theory, because never once, see, this is why I like TikTok. This is why I just record myself talking and post, because I love to get other people's like insights, right? So never once did it cross my mind, or did I make the connection in my head, that this thing tends to act up the most when there are males around me. And every single male that I was around that thing like showed itself to ended up not being a fucking nice person. So that is fucking crazy. I love TikTok. I love TikTok. So that first time that it showed itself, when I was arguing with my boyfriend in the hallway, yeah, and we broke up. It turns out like that was just not a nice dude. I won't get too into it, but he was doing very bad things behind my back that I didn't know. And it worse than cheating. We'll just say that. And then the second time when I had my tattoo artist over staying on the couch, okay, years later down the line, I was speaking to a mutual friend that me and him had, and I hadn't heard from him in a while, and I asked him, like, hey, what's up with Ricky? That's why I'm calling for the story. What's up with Ricky? She went on to tell me this crazy ass story about he started using again, and pretty much, long story short, took a pew and like held his girlfriend and his child hostage. I guess she was going to pick the baby up from a visit, and he refused to give the baby back, and it was a whole big fucking thing. So yeah, maybe it saw that in him and didn't want me around it. That's why it was threatening him when he was in the house. And now I'm worried. I'm thinking, because I told you I had company over the other night, and my tongs flew off the stove. It's showing itself again. It showed itself to him. I didn't actually see it, but I didn't see the figure, but I saw the tongs flying off the stove. And it showed itself to him. He saw it from the corner of his eye standing in my kitchen. But now I'm wondering, like, what the fuck? What is up with this dude now? Do I need to be worried about him? So I'm going to be doing my research on this motherfucker now. The whole spirit husband thing is starting to trip me out now, because I'm like, that is actually making a lot of fucking sense. I need someone to come on here and tell me more. Can someone that actually knows about this stuff like do a quick little video for me and explain it and like tag me in it? Because I went on Google and it's giving conflicting answers. You know, some of the answers are like, oh, you know, it's a good entity, it's there just to protect you. And then some of the other answers are like, no, this is a bad entity and it's there to cause chaos, and it's like latched on you, and it's not. I don't know. So like, I'm hoping someone that actually knows a lot about this shit, because I'm a witch, but I don't fucking know everything. I don't know anything about this kind of stuff. So please help me out. I don't feel threatened by it. I've never once felt threatened by it. It startles me, it scares me, because it's a, you know, when it shows itself as an apparition, it's fucking scary. But I've never felt threatened by it.
What's up, TikTok? This your boy Breeze, and I want to tell y'all about this situation I had a couple years ago. Well, me and my brother ran into the Hat Man, or you know, the Shadow Man with the hat. We was in Birmingham, Alabama when it started. You know, we was at a bar. I can't really remember what bar we was at, but we was on the south side of Birmingham. was at the bar, had us a couple of drinks or whatever, you know. But we wasn't drunk. We wasn't drunk, you know. We was just like a slight little buzz or whatever. So we just ready to leave from the bar or whatever. We head home or whatever. And I'm coming through the south side over by UAB. UAB is a college, a big old college campus and stuff like that. And as we coming through UAB, we come around this road, and I forget. Did I mention that it was foggy that night? It was kind of foggy too. So as we ride or whatever, right, we laughing and talking shit or whatever. You know, just communicating like brothers do. And as we come around this road, it was real foggy. I had my brights on. So as we come around the corner, I bullshit y'all not. And I know I was not drunk when I seen this. I know I wasn't drunk when I seen this. I seen the Hat Man. Me and my brother seen the Hat Man. He walked out in front of us like he was crossing the street. I bullshit y'all not, my right-handed guy. This man came from across the street, walked past the car, and he was moving so fast, it was like he was floating across the street, and you could see him moving through the fog. And I thought I hit him, but it wasn't in there. So once we passed him up or whatever, me and my brother was like, we went quiet for like about 5 minutes. We weren't talking. We didn't say a word, nothing. And I asked my brother, I said, bro. He was like, yeah, bro. I said, tell me you seen what I seen. And he looked at me and answered like, yeah, bro, I seen that. I asked him, I said, bro, what did you see? Just to make sure me and him on the same page now. I'm trying to make sure me and him on the same page. And guess what he told me? They seen a man with a hat cross the street. And I bullshit you not. And when we seen this man, you did not see his bottom. You did not see the bottom half of his body. But you could see somebody crossing the street, like moving across the street, moving fast. And I could have sworn I hit this man. But wasn't nobody there. And to this day, I think about this shit sometimes and be like, damn, what are the odds of me running into something like that? Shit is real out here, man. Whether y'all want to believe it or not, spirits are real. Be careful out here.
Have you heard of the Shadow Man? I had a first-hand encounter with the Shadow Man. For those of you who don't know, I'm a professional ghost hunter. If you watch any of my videos, you know sometimes we can unintentionally take things home. One night, I was home all alone when I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. There was a shadow looking directly at me. It was peeking around the door and it looked to be about 6 foot tall. When I turned to look at it, it hid back behind the door. Immediately called up my best friend and had her come over so that we could try to communicate. She came over and we started using the spirit box. We found out that she had actually followed us from a previously haunted location. Some of you guys will recognize the location. The Coronado Island Hotel. The Dell. Some of you might recognize this location because other ghost hunters have ghost hunted here. This is where a famous ghost resides, Kate Morgan. Kate Morgan is one of the oldest unsolved murder cases in the United States. A lot of people don't know this, but that hotel is on an island. And that island has more than one unexplained murder. And we believe that the other woman, who was also murdered, may be the shadow person that followed me home. And I'm talking about the murder of Rebecca Zahau. Now, we go more into depth about this on our YouTube channel, but shadow people do not always have to be scary, so you don't have to be afraid if a shadow person visits you in your dreams. It's possible that they're just coming to you for help.
I'm gonna try to do this story time. So here we go. This one is when I lived out east, me and my family, my husband and my 2 sons. They was young. They was like 8 and 6, and it was at night, and all the lights was out because it was bedtime, so all the lights was out, and I was sitting on the side of the bed finna get ready to, put my feet in the bed and go to sleep. all of a sudden I saw this like a dark shadow come out of my kid's room. And I was like, what the? And y'all, the tall, dark shadow stopped. I can see him stop. When he came out the room, he stopped right in the little hallway we had. And he like turned. You can see the shadow, outline of the shadow. He turned to look in the room where I was at, as though, you can see me. And I got up. I had one of those blonde moments. I got up and walked towards it because it went in the bathroom. And I pushed the bathroom door open. Y'all, nothing was there. But I saw the dark shadow guy. And then I told my husband about it. So, like 2 or 3 days later, my husband was home. I was home. And I was in the bathroom washing my hands and stuff. He was in the kitchen. Mind y'all, it was a 2-bedroom bungalow. So he called my name and I called his name at the same time. And I say, you see this? He say, yeah, what is this? The kitchen cabinets was vibrating. My cabinet in the bathroom was vibrating. And then it just stopped. Sorry about that, y'all. That was my husband. One of the little football players wasn't feeling good. But anyway, so about 2 days later, I did tell you about the vibration of the, because he done made me lost track of where I was. The vibration of the kitchen cabinets and the bathroom cabinets. So, about a couple of days later after that, it was on a weekend, and we were in the house. And listen, don't never let nobody tell you that other things ain't walk around this earth, because they are. So after that, we prayed in the house and everything. After we got through praying, why did it feel like somebody ran across the top of my house, the rooftop, and all you can hear is like somebody getting a running start across your roof? Boom, 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 and jump, boom, in the backyard. Honey, that thing shook me. I went next door across the street and asked my neighbor, I said, did you see anybody jump off the top of my house? She looked at me like I was crazy. She goes, ain't nobody jump off top of your house. Nobody went in your yard with that dog you got in their yard. But my mind just like, let me go see. Because I was almost like, this can't be happening. But that was my first experience with that type of spirit before. I wasn't scared. It was just something that I never had to deal with. And then, fine, everything was calm and quiet. And before we moved, there was another incident, but not with that kind of incident. But I'm going to have to go into another one I had. My next one is going to be where, y'all, I felt like I was going to hell. I felt as though I was going to hell on the next one. It's something, it's really something. It's make you wonder and make you think. And that one really got to me. It really, really got to me. Because on the next one, it's going to be, you know, in the Word of God, it said we have to convert ourselves.
All right, guys. So this is going to be a true story. This happened to me probably when I was 14 years old. If you guys ever heard of Shadow Man, I seen somebody else actually state that this happened to them as well, which makes this a true story. Like, you can Google this, right? So I was in middle school. Normal day, chill with the family, nothing out of the ordinary. I decide, hey, let's go to sleep. It's maybe 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So I'm asleep, right? So I go to sleep, and then all of a sudden, like, I just wake up, right? Mind you, the whole house is blacked out, like all lights off. And you can barely see, you know how you see the street lights, right? You can still see them a little bit through your window. So that's really like the only light that's coming in the house. So you still can open your eyes and like see if somebody may be moving around. You can see a little bit, but it's dark. So all of a sudden, right, I wake up. Now tell me why I wake up and I look towards the door. I don't know what made me do it. I do it. I see this. Maybe 6 feet tall. And it's at my door. Mind you, me and my brother sharing a room. We're in middle school. So it's at the door. He sleeps by the door. I'm right here on the other side by the wall. I look, I see this. I'm terrified. Not only is it a tall black figure, right? No face. You can't see a face. You don't see a shadow. But what's scary as hell is it peeps like his head under the door. So it's kind of as if it was, you know, peeping around the door and looking under and looking down. I promise you not. I am terrified. I'm not dreaming. I'm awake. I can move my arms. I can point. What's so crazy about this is looking down at my brother, and I'm here on the wall, and I'm looking. And again, it's just peeping in with his head down. And my brother's right here by this door, so it's peeping. It's like it's looking down on my brother. Only thing I could say, I could talk. Again, I can move my hands. I'm so shocked that I barely whisper out, "Mama." Now, mind you, my mama room is in the hall, directly in the middle of the hallway, so she can see straight down the hallway, right? And my room is to the left with my brother. I say, "Mama." And it's like I said, it's got to be 1, 2 in the morning. I'm not sure what time. And all I hear is she says, "Yes, son, I see it too." This was the scariest thing that ever happened to me in my life. And for my mama to see it at the same exact time, I'm not sure what woke her up, but this is a...
So why do some people see it and some people do not see it, right? So it is considered, or it's called, the shadow man and or the hat man, right? Now, it says that a lot of times people will see it if you are in a house with really negative energy, and also if there's like a use in the house. I don't want to say the real word, but just, you know, think about what I'm saying, right? And also like just a lot of heavy negative energy in a home, or somebody had just passed away, and or just a lot of grief in the house, unhappiness in the house, that can actually manifest the shadow person, especially when you're going through a lot of griefs, right? And also you usually see it or feel the energy of it when you are in a state of like just about to wake up, because that's when the veil is the thinnest, and also when you are in sleep paralysis, right? So you are having nightmares, and or you just, you feel like you're pinned to the bed and you cannot get up, and you cannot scream, you cannot cry, you cannot, none of that, right? And I have to say though, I have experienced sleep paralysis a couple times, and at first I thought they were dreams, but they were not dreams. After I like break everything down, they weren't dreams, right? But that's one of the ways that you would see it. So I'm going to get in a little bit deeper so I can break everything down, because I did look up some stuff about it, and I don't want to just go based on like my knowledge and what I know, so we can really break this down. Because someone actually reached out and said, "Hey, how do you know when?" And also in one of the stories that I will be sharing, she basically said that, "Hey, you know, I know a lot about the occult and, you know, esoteric information, but I want to know like why some people are experiencing this and why some don't, and what is the cause of people experiencing this." So I want to go over everything. So it says the highest sensitivity and spiritual awakening people usually are able to see it. So if your third eye is open, you're just more sensitive to energies. So basically, like if your third eye is open, and also if you're an empath, you can experience this if you feel people's energy very, very strong. So it says some people are naturally more physically sensitive or intuitive. They pick up on energies, right? And others ignore. So the people who cannot experience this because they really don't tap in and they don't realize when there's energies around them, when the energy shifts. They just are not thinking that, well, not necessarily thinking, but they're not focused on it that much. I'm actually coming down with something. Ooh. So I've been drinking some tea. Let me put this down, hold on. We're gonna get more into this, right? My spoon, I want to put the spoon down. Let's get it away. We'll get into it, right? It's fenugreek and also soursop. It's like a mixture of everything with honey. So anyways, it says the state of consciousness. So the shadow people are frequently reported during sleep paralysis. Same thing I just said, right? Sleep paralysis and or when about to wake up. So when you're like right in the middle, you know when you just wake up from your sleep, you literally like kind of right and like in that daze, you're not completely awake, you're not completely asleep, you're just kind of like, you know, that's the best time to actually manifest. You know what I mean? Because you're like just focused on the thing, because you're necessarily still stuck in the dream world and also in the waking world, so you're not completely awake yet, right? So it says energy, frequency, and trauma, environment with high negative energy. See, I hadn't even read that. This is things that I just knew, right? With use, grief, violence, depression can attract shadow entities. People experiencing stress, trauma, or physical vulnerability may be more likely to encounter them. So when I encountered mine was because I had just lost my godmom. I was raised by her, and then my very good friend, he passed away. He was like, he has special needs. I talk about him all the time here, like, because I've experienced a lot of like scary things that most people would probably consider scary. To me, it was like normal. But yeah, when he had just passed away, I experienced that too, because they passed away around very close to each other, and they lived very close. I lived, you know, with my godmom, and he was my neighbor, you know. So it was very traumatic for me, and I was experiencing that during that time. And then it says cultural belief system also play a role. A skeptic might dismiss a shadow figure as tricks of the eyes, while some spiritually open interrupts it as a being, which is true, because if you don't believe in it, you just assume, oh, that's not true, you know, that's not real. Then you're dismissing it, which is fine too, because if you don't want to deal with it, you know, you're just like, I'm not going to acknowledge it. Doesn't mean that it's not there. You're just not acknowledging it because you're just putting it as something that is not true, that couldn't be true, right? So that's one of the reasons why other people do not experience this. They are usually linked to interdimensional beings, restless spirits, or energetic parasites, feeding off of fear, right? So let's talk about fear for a little bit, because with everything going on with, you know, the guy that was unalive, and I don't want to really get into like political, but I do believe that there are a lot of stuff that is put in front of us to keep us in this fear state, which lowers your frequency, which then allows you to, you know, to not have ease in yourself, to not have ease in your life. So that's one of the reasons why, like, I would say, in my opinion, I don't watch the news unless it's something that I really need to know. Like, I'll go on there and I'll watch it. But there are particular news stations that I just do not watch, because I feel like they're there to put fear. And what does fear does, it's like a leech. Like, it leeches off of you, and all of a sudden, like, things starts happening. Just like, you know, if you're fearful, all of a sudden you start seeing shadow peoples and like the Hatmans and all that stuff because of the fear. And they need the fear to keep you there, to keep you trapped. And in my opinion, yes, things does happen in the world on a regular basis, but they do not have to happen. A lot of time, in my opinion, those things are planned or set up to achieve a bigger goal, right? And people who are being who are getting into that energy because it's there for you to be fearful, so then, you know, you can be stuck on that. Now, what was I going to say about that? Yeah, so now you're stuck on this fear base, and now the people who plan these things, right, because they still take place. Doesn't mean the event's not real. The event is very much real, but it's placed there so they can cause chaos and then come and bring you the solution, right? But by the time you get the solution, you already been fearful. You're already on 10. You know how to protect your family, how to do this. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going to happen next because of what's being put out in front of you, you know, in the news, on TV and all that stuff, right? The whole fear, it literally ties in with everything. So now you already been fearful, all this thing. Your nervous system is already out of whack, right? Now they jump in and become the savior. The same people who caused the fear, the same people who caused the chaos is now the savior. So something happened. Now it's going to be new laws that's going to be in place to come and fix this said problem that was created by the same people. So yeah, it's like, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But let's go back to the shadow man. I was just talking about fear because it got to the fear part, which is very, very important, and to why and how people are able to see it, how it's basically manifests into your reality. Because without the fear, without all the destruction, with not necessarily destruction, well, destructions, but without the system and balance, you wouldn't have to deal with that, right? So yeah, let's go into the next part. Archetype of fear. The mind gives the shadows a recognizable form. Demonic parasite entities. Any energy being that feeds on stress, chaos, and despair, right? Chaos and despair. And interdimensional travelers. Some theory says that he is not a ghost, but a conscious being crossing over dimensions. So it's not something that's not real. It's actually real. It's just that you just so happen to be in the crossfire of that, right? So anyway, collective thought forms. Repeated beliefs in him gives him power, making him appear more often. So for example, if you watch too much videos or listen to too many scary things about the shadow man, then you naturally manifest it into your life, and now you're going to start seeing it. So for example, when I tell you that I no longer wanted to see it, it's because I stopped thinking about it. I stopped, learning more about it. I stopped, manifesting it into my algorithm, into my energy. So for example, the way algorithms work is just like on YouTube. You may be someone who likes to watch crime shows, right? All of a sudden, everything that YouTube refers to you now is crime shows. So therefore, it's in their algorithm is going to always refer to you crime shows. Or you like this particular crime YouTuber, right? They start showing you a whole bunch of their videos that is crime related on top of other people who have the same kind of thing. But before that, you never used to see them. That's how it adds into your algorithm. It just starts appearing because you commanded it, you requested it to be shown to you. Talk to you later. Hey guys, I'm Jenny and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teach you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use, alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It shows you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell. So if you're in a bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money, and I even have some easy powerful spell to win game of chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to senders. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week. As long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copying. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, you know, content every day for you guys to enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, you know, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.